Hello. Okay, so this is going to be my part 2 of how I glitter my tumblers. For this one, I have the exact same template on it, except I've shortened it in Cricut to 7.5 tall by 10 1/8 wide. It's the same tumbler. This one's glittered and finished, ready to go. I've already pulled off, oh, I've missed one, pulled off the smallest trim areas. And what I'm going to use are these really cool Arteza markers. They're pretty thick. They're acrylic markers. And they dry really fast. I love them. So I will just go in and I'll color in my areas very carefully. And it doesn't matter if I go on the stuff at all. It wipes right off. And also because I tend to line, gosh, this one's juicy just for the video. I tend to line everything. Anything I mess up on will be covered up with, I would guess, about 1/8 of an inch vinyl strip. Gosh, this is really wet just for my video, huh? You grab a napkin. And we waste everything here. I just use my kitchen towels. We don't care. So I'll go through and I'll just color every section that I want to do. So for these ones, I'm going to do kind of in a coppery color. I don't really have a lot of oranges, which is surprising in my glitter collection because I'm sure I have close to 1,000 glitters. But not an orange that would work with this. And of course, this is a brand new vinyl I just added into my shop. And now that I'm smart enough, I'll add a link this time. But I'll go ahead and speed this up so the video is not quite so long and you don't have to listen to me yammer. Okay, from there, see if I can make this all look halfway decent for you. Make sure my camera's even working. I'm going to use this glitter glue. Super easy stuff. I'll have to look up where I got it. It's one of those resin companies, but we all know I don't have a brain. I usually will just squirt some on my paper. And I would also be doing this back in my cup room. I have a vinyl room and I have a cup room. So I try to keep glitter all to one area, but we don't care. I'm going to use PDB's Cavaliere, and it's kind of a coppery color. Again, lack of orange, so this will be a good contrast. And I'll just get the glue. I usually use a thinner brush too. I would have been smarter to grab one. And I will just do a section at a time because it does dry pretty fast. I didn't give the marker any dry time, but I'll put it on pretty heavy and just glitter each section as I go. And it does take a while, but typically I will have a book on Audible playing in the background, some music, and I just zone out. This is the more relaxing part of making tumblers, I think, especially when it's not in order and I can just go with it and do whatever I want. I find that more relaxing. I tend to get more stressed if they're custom orders and I gotta get them just right. Or if I have to make multiples of the same cup, I don't know why, it drives me crazy. And I just keep working my way through a little bit at a time. There's always glitter that sticks to the vinyl, but in the end, I'll just use a fan brush, which of course I didn't bring back here with me, and wipe it off. I will let this dry before I start in on the next color, because then I won't get the mess of mixed color. But remember, these center pieces are coming out. A little glue on them isn't going to hurt anything. And also a little bit of overreach isn't going to hurt anything, because after I coat this in resin, I'll be lining it with a coordinating vinyl that I just cut to size on the Cricut. Lots of people will use nail liners, things like that when they do nail art. But again, I'm cheap. I like to just make my own. I really like using the textured vinyls from Cricut. They just add a little bit of pizzazz, I guess, is a good word for it. Yeah, and this is usually, after something like this, I'll get up and I'll walk in and say hi to my husband or something, and even though it looks like I'm keeping it all contained, somehow I end up wearing this. My face looks like I should be on a Twilight movie. Must have been where they got the idea for the shiny guy. But yeah, it's super easy. I'll keep doing this throughout the whole thing. Then before the glue dries completely, in sections like this, I'll go ahead and do this since I got my wet brush. I'll lift out the centerpiece of that I'm going to glitter next, just because sometimes when that glue dries and it does crust to the top of the vinyl, it can pull some out of the center. Kind of a pain. You don't have to finish a whole section. You can always go back in and do it. I'll just show you what I mean here. Find my handy dandy tool. I feel like I should be Bob Ross. Find my handy dandy little tool. That will be, and there's a line here, so I gotta remember to do it down here. UPS, probably, or somebody driving by. Ignore my puppy. This just assures that it doesn't pull up the glitter from the center area. Ensures is the better word. So I'll try to do both sides if I pay attention enough and catch it before. Sometimes I forget because I'm the most airheaded person there is. You guys, I'm so excited. I feel like I'm super popular now. Not really being into the videos and stuff. I've already had over 945 hits, and I'm like, ooh, all these people have seen my videos. They're either laughing or I'm actually helping somebody. So that's pretty cool. I apologize. This one took so long. I'm always in the midst of something. I've been printing orders like crazy. And also I've been doing some really neat custom orders for a lady that's doing a fundraiser. And on top of that, I also run a pilot car, which I always explain it as the person who's in your way when you don't want them to be on the freeway with the oversized loads. So whenever I have a rage, that's where I get it out at. A very unconventional job, but I absolutely love it. I get to travel and see the coolest stuff. And I tell you what, when I show up to work with glitter on my face and all over the place, I get some strange looks. I tell them I promise I don't work in a strip club after hours. I probably shouldn't say that on here, but whatever. Now I'm talking too much. I'll go ahead and speed this up so you can see what it looks like. So you don't have to watch a full half hour of this or so. And I will be right back. Okay, so from there, just gonna grab another paintbrush and just kind of clear some of this off because it does get kind of hard to see with so much glitter. Once it's really dry, I give it a good brush. I usually have a fan brush. I'm never prepared, but just enough so I can see what's going on, and it makes me feel better. I can see it. It's so pretty. I'm glad I went with this copper color. It really contrasts with that orange instead of an orange that I was thinking I needed to use. And for the inner sections, I'm going to do a teal color. And then I thought I would just continue this orange, burnt copper, whatever color, to the outside edges. I'll get the bulk of this off here so I can start on the blue. This one has a really pretty blue background, kind of a teal background, I guess that's the word. All right, not too shabby. And anything like this that you've gotten glue on, it just scratches right off. It's not a big deal. Comes right off. I usually work on cleaning all of that up literally with my fingernail before I take it outside and spray it with a sealant. That's probably going to be as good as it gets for now. I'm not too finicky about it. I don't worry about it too much. Some of my colors cross, and I actually kind of like it when it does that sometimes. It's really pretty. All right. It's going to drive me nuts. That seems to be the only place that'll do it, but I'll sit there and work that off literally just with my fingernail later on. It's glitter. You can't keep it perfect. It's the gift that keeps on giving, whether it's sealed in resin or not. And I will just gather this up. I'll throw it away. See if I can wear this glitter while I'm at it. I'll clean this all back into here. Try not to waste too much of it. Clean this off. And it's a messy process. I mean, yeah, my husband loves hugs when I'm done with this. Then I'll go back in with my other marker, and I do leave this tipped up a little bit so I'm not grinding the glitter off it as I move it. My markers do get dirty. You can see that I've still got glitter on here from the last round. This is probably a little darker than I want, but that's okay. I'm going to be using Beach Please. I thought that matched pretty well. You may not be able to tell what it's going to look like until you've got it under a coat of resin. But I just grab whatever and let the cup do its own thing. Bob Ross, you know, just let those clouds fly. And I'll see where I've missed little spots, where they've pilled up when I've taken off the centers. I will just go back in and fix that. So I'll spend the next 10-15 minutes probably coloring all this in. And you don't have to do this. For these smaller pieces, I like a marker because I can go right up against this and it's going to stop me. It's a good guide. But for the bottom area, I'll use an acrylic paint just because it's so much faster. These are really a lifesaver. Arteza should just send them to me in bulk. I think I'm on my 3rd box now in 5 years. I kind of wish they had bigger boxes of them with more colors. You can always get more colors in a paint tube than you can a marker. The reason I'm doing it these colors, oh look, see, I forgot a whole area. I kind of wanted the orange color to be the main focus. So I thought if I use these center areas to pull out the teal in the background, that might help the whole thing pop, if that makes any sense. Darn, it's gonna drive me nuts, but what are you gonna do? We'll just get those on the next round. I'm notorious for forgetting something, and I'll get in there and start resining, and I'll see a spot I forgot, and I'll be like, oh crap. But you can literally go right back in over it. You won't be able to tell a difference if you have to add it into another layer. I hear motorcycles out there. Spring must be getting closer. It's been such a weird, weird year. We're into the end of, yeah, almost April here. Yep, I know what day it is, really. And we've still been getting snow. My husband just had to drive over 100 miles to Utah to go get pellets for the wood stove. Winter's been so long this year. But, yep, so you don't have to hear me ramble. I'll speed this up for you and keep going. Okay, so as I was doing that, you could probably see a ton of areas I missed with the other one. So I'm just going to really quickly touch those up in some areas, just because it's going to drive me crazy, especially like right in there. Where's it going? Yeah. This glue does dry pretty dang fast. It's a good one. I've tried a few of them. It's my favorite. I definitely missed a few spots. Not used to doing it under the camera, and I think I'm going quicker than I typically would. Ah, I wanted glitter all over. One of my awesome girls got me a glitter vacuum for Christmas. I have to bring that back here and put it to use. Just a little desktop vacuum. Alright, hopefully that's about the bulk of it. Thicken it up right there a bit. And it doesn't really hurt it if the glitter gets a little thick. Yeah, it's going to stick, darn it. And see, I get ahead of myself. I make mistakes. Hopefully the other glue will cover it. As it dries, it usually flakes off anyway, since it's just acrylic. Anyway, we'll cover it with marker if it doesn't. It's definitely a messy process, and I'm absolutely positive there's other glitter cup makers. Oh, see what I did? That was a wet spot. Cup makers that can do this so much better than I can. I'm probably blind and, oh, there's one missing a spot or two. That's okay. And I'll probably be doing touch-ups with the teal too. Hopefully, I shouldn't do that when it's so loud. I'm sorry. Didn't think twice. I'll just clean this off. Get more glitter all over because why not? Best thing about carpet, can't see the glitter. Shh, don't tell. All right, I usually have a cup of water back here too. So I'm gonna go in with the bigger paintbrush, get some fresh glue that's not totally full of this coppery color. You know, it's probably a thick enough area, I could just dump the glue right on the cup. And get glue all over, because that's what I'm good at. Like I said, I'm covered in this stuff by the time I'm done. And this is really the wrong, I usually have a flat brush. This will do for now. Usually just a little less than a 1/2 inch flat brush to spread the stuff, glue. And I do put it on pretty thick. 1 or 2 coats of resin will cover that, and then I'll sand anything that I don't want. Make sure it's down into the corner here. Oh, that's pretty. I like that a lot. And I'll just touch up this area. Probably where I always have glitter on my face too. I throw the paintbrush in my mouth. I always kind of call this layer 1 of glitter, because it usually takes me this one and then a little while after that, after it's dried, before I seal it, go through, touch up any spots that I don't like. I'll let it completely dry before I do that, tap it off, brush it off with a good brush, and then work on fixing any areas I'm not happy with. We'll see how that covers up. I should have touched it with a marker. Usually I'll go over any glitter spots like this with a marker and it hides it perfect. It's gonna be so pretty. Oh, you guys, I love that. You know, I'm gonna get some copper mixed into my glitter that I put back in my jar, but yeah, shake it up really good. I won't worry about it. It'll show up in the next mess. I haven't quite decided what color I want to do my lines yet. I'll have to stew about that. I'll usually pull a few different colors out and play with it, see what looks really good. I almost think of gold. I know this is supposed to be springy, but this is starting to look fall with the darker colors. So my line that I choose will have to brighten it back up. And what I mean by the line is when I go in with Cricut vinyl and line it around the smaller sections. You guys, I absolutely love this. I have so many cups that I haven't given away. I sell a ton of them when I do the craft fairs, and I do 2 or 3 of those a year. And I also sell on my Facebook page, but there's so many that don't make it. They just end up in my collection. And I'll tell you a secret, it's really bad. Yes, I love my cups, but I don't use them very often because I really like to throw my coffee cup in the dishwasher. My sister says she's put my cups through the dishwasher that I've made her, and they've held up. But I set mine on like boiling status, so yeah, it would just melt off out here. I really wish they'd make a dishwasher safe resin. That'd be so cool. You guys, I love this. It's so pretty. Oh my goodness. You know, in PBD, PDB, I always mix up the name because I'm, you know, me. They have the most stunning glitters. They absolutely sparkle. And I think my PDB is only 1/4 of my collection. I've got so many. Oh, there's a spot I missed, darn it. So many different brands. But lately I find I'm just going to these. And I'll see a glitter I want and I love, and I'll literally make a vinyl just so I can use it. Is that really sad? Yeah, that's about good. I will go ahead and speed this up for you so you can see what the end looks like. All right, and of course I don't have another paintbrush, I don't think, in here to clean stuff off. Let me peek, you never know. Yes, that'll do. Just to give you a little bit of a visual of what it looks like underneath all this mess. And of course I'll go through and I'll touch those up. Scrape off any excess glitter that's stuck in a few areas. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is so pretty. I didn't have this planned out very well before I did this. I just kind of am going with it. I can't plan stuff. I'm terrible. I never know how a cup's gonna look until I'm done with it. And I'm good at changing my mind a lot as I'm going through and making it. Now I'm trying to decide if I should stick with making the bottoms copper or if I should go blue, because I love that blue. I don't know. Isn't that pretty? Areas to clean up, of course. That takes most of my time is cleanup because I'm a messy crafter. If I'm not wearing it and making a mess, I guess it's not done right. And even when I resin this, even if I've sprayed it 2 or 3 times, and by the way, light sprays, because some of these glitters run. I haven't had any PDBs run on me, but some brands, if you hit them too heavy, dark colors will bleed, and that'll just destroy your whole project. I've yet to come back from a mess like that. But all these vinyls that I like to use, a lot of people use clears. I do love white because it's easy to work with. This is a gloss vinyl, a little easy to work with. But yes, there will be glitter on the image when I'm done because this is me. I'm not perfect. No matter how hard I try, I can spend hours perfecting this, and I probably will. And there's still going to be a few escapees. Just try to get the bulk of it. I'm thinking I'm going to go ahead and stick with keeping the base copper, and then I'm going to use a teal strip of vinyl to line it and help pop it out again. And I'm going to use a light, this color teal vinyl to line it. That's really, I think that'll be really pretty. All right, so let me clean up my mess before I get too excited. And since this has coppers and silvers in it anyway, I'm not going to worry too much about a few stray coppers going back into my jar. It really won't show that much. Oh my gosh, I'm covered in glitter. I think my husband needs a hug. He'll be home from work soon. I'm so awful. All right, so this is different color than the pen that I used, but the color of the glitter will cover it. And I just do it this way because it goes a lot faster. I guess I'll just use this brush since it's handy. And this takes a little bit to dry. Paints typically do. But I always cover it because I don't like my silver to show. I want it to look finished and I want it to blend. And you'll notice you don't have to be really perfectly matched. You saw how dark that teal was, like right there. When I go back and finish it and fix any spots I've missed, like that darn copper edge down here somewhere right there, you won't even be able to tell. And some people I've seen when they're doing this, they will mix their, oh shoot, they will mix their color with some paint and then glitter directly after while it's wet. And it does work. I just tend not to do that because I feel like it's easier to peel off, I guess. And I'm hard on my projects, so durability is key for me. This may not be in the camera very well. Until it's getting darker outside, my lighting's getting dimmer. All right, I'll do this side. And all I have in here to hold it is a pool noodle. And of course, just some PVC, 1/2 inch, I suppose. I'm getting pretty grateful summer's getting here because my pool noodles are definitely ready for replacement. When you use them a lot, they tend to shrink down a little bit and they don't hold your cups as well. So I'm ready for spring and pool noodles. I wonder what people think of me when I'm walking out of the grocery store with no kids and like 20 pool noodles in my cart. Stay back, I'll beat you with a pool noodle. Of course, when I do convince my kids to tag along, it's always pool noodle fights in the store and out in the parking lot anyway, so why not? All right. Yep, I'm in love. I love it. I love that color too. Gosh, if this were a fall cup, I'd have it made. You know, and because I'm in the wrong room, I don't have water. Good thing it's yeah. So I will just let this dry, and I will come back in a few minutes and glitter it. I'll go ahead and pause it here. Maybe. All right, so this is all ready to be glued and all that good stuff. I did touch up a few areas while I was waiting. Figured, I know you probably didn't need to see this glued, but why not? And then I went and found my water. That's always good. And what you see I missed right there, and you can see some silver. I'll just cover that up in the thin vinyl lines. And if I sound really hoarse, I'll apologize. My lovely cat left a mess for me, and well, my stomach don't like that. Love the cat, don't love the effects. Laugh for the day to share there. All right, should be pretty good. And then going with that same copper color. Pretty good. Touch up a little bit right there, just make it more sticky. And for a big space like this, even when you go to resin, I make my first coat of resin really thin. Don't know why, it probably doesn't benefit me. But because of that, if I've missed a spot, I can also carefully touch up with a paintbrush and some more glitter in some of these bigger areas. Wouldn't recommend it too much on the smaller areas because, well, if you're me, I wouldn't do it. I'm not the most graceful. I'm almost wishing now that I went with the teal color on the ends, but like I say, play it by ear or sight. I think if it's completely planned out, it's not really art, I guess, to me. For me, I just go with the flow and do whatever needs to be done to make it match, pull together. And like I was saying earlier, I really think pulling in that lighter vinyl will give it the spring effect I'm after. so that is that. After this completely dries, I'm going to go through and clean up as much as I can. You can see that I've already fixed a lot of the areas I've missed, but there's still a few I can see that I need to touch up. I will take it outside and spray it in with Rust-Oleum matte is what I typically go for. Matte Rust-Oleum clear fixative, whatever you want to call it, sealant. Then I'll let that completely dry. Then from there, it will get 2 coats of resin. Currently, I use Fast Set epoxy from, oh gosh, KS resin. Does that sound right to anybody? I'll have to look it up. 2 coats of that, about 4 to 6. So after the first hour, I recoat again. And between 4 to 6 hours later, it's ready for me to pull off, sand any lumps that may need sanded. I get it really smooth. And then from there, I just start with my strips and I'll line along the outsides and cut them off. I follow the copper lines. Then from there, I'll resin again. I'll go ahead and add in another video after this to show the quick lining of it. And then I'll show you the finished tumbler. Well, thank you. I hope that did the job. I'm pretty much in love with this cup. Fall or spring, I think it's gonna go well. This will definitely be in my April show. I will include pictures when it's done. Thank you.